news. Pretty nice.
Wow, so many people. Probably the most number of people we've ever gotten, minus the first week.
So you know the homework was hard.
Before 10 people dropped. Okay, so here's the agenda for today. First, I will announce that I'm extending homework 6 to be due on Thursday. Okay, so let's do although this is a dictatorship, okay, but sometimes I fall for the American democracy, okay? So who here thinks, oh, I've scheduled my time properly, I've sacrificed my Thanksgiving, why should the others who are slacking off get a second chance? So therefore I do not want there to be an extension. Wow, look, I know at least one person is thinking about it, but then there's peer pressure, they don't want to raise their hands. That's okay. So homework 6, Thursday before class, and we'll go over it on Thursday. Today, what we're gonna do, a few things. First, we're gonna go, so last time we went over how, we kind of went over the smart contract code for ERC-20 and 721 tokens. Today, I'm going to show you how to actually kind of make your own ERC-20 and 721. Second thing that we're gonna do is, I think everyone has to do like course evals from me, but I have no idea how to do it because I forgot to do it last semester. I'll figure that out. Third thing, homework 7, after feedback from one person, I have decided to make it extra credit. It will be due before the final exam, so you have like a week to finish it. Homework 7, so it's got the vanilla extra credit and the extra credit. Okay, the vanilla extra credit, which is basically homework 7, you can get 8%. Okay, that's too much. Maybe I can half it. You can get 8%. Okay, and the extra credit, there are 2 parts. Let me share my screen. Actually, you know, give me a second. There we go. Okay. So this part, speed drive, 8%. Okay, this is the vanilla extra credits. Now that the whole thing is extra credit. Okay. The extra credit are these parts. Okay. So these 2 extra credits, you can only do 1 because the second one includes basically encapsulates the first one. So the max amount of extra credit that you can get is 13%. Because of this unprecedented generosity, earlier on in the semester, you may have asked me, oh, like, I was shit for this homework. What's going to happen to my grade? I used to say, well, if you don't get a good enough grade in the final or whatever, then like if your final grade is at like an 89 or something, then I'll consider, revisiting the past homeworks. But I think with the 13%, I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. So if this is your second chance, okay? Can you explain what sus means? Sus means Daniel not coming to class. I don't know what he's doing, what he's smoking in his rooms. So yeah, basically because I'm giving everyone 13% extra credit, those who work on it, okay? So I'm not going to be revisiting old homework assignments and whatnot, okay? So if you really want it, here's your chance to coup, okay? So last semester they had something similar. I actually gave out more extra credit last semester, but this semester I'm trying to dial things back a bit. But 13% is pretty massive. But if you know the material, you can try to go for it. This is very good. This is very good final exam review. If you don't do it, it's fine. You're not going to be penalized. I'm just going to kind of like rebalance the points so that the total percentage. You know, if you've done homework 0 to 6, you got 100%. You don't have to do homework 7 to get 100%. Okay. But if you do work on homework 7, you get over that. Okay, so let me go through homework 7 real quick, and then we'll write some ERC-20 as 721 code, and then I'm gonna check out how to do evals, and you guys can ask me homework 6 questions. Okay. Sorry. All right, homework 7. Also, I enabled sharing, so I had it off. Sorry about that. Homework 7 is speed drive. Okay, so it's basically a highway toll system, right? Where you, I mean, everyone here has driven through a toll road, more or less, right? By accident or on purpose. If by accident, then it was usually it doesn't end well. But especially in Orange County, so not the toll roads, not so much the toll roads in LA, where it's kind of like just a carpool lane that you have to pay for. In Orange County, there are stretches of highways and roads that are toll only. Basically, if you don't pay, and you drive in and you don't pay later, then you're gonna get fined. Okay, so this is the one that I'm kind of envisioning. Okay, so it's a highway toll system similar to Fast Track. Fees are charged based on and off ramp locations using its own ERC-20 token. Okay, so it's gonna charge fees, but you're not gonna charge Ether. You're gonna charge its own token, the SPD token. Okay. And the fees, they don't necessarily correspond to distance between on and off ramps, meaning that basically you will be given a bunch of on-off ramp pairs. So possible locations where people can get on and they get off. Basically possible routes, more or less. You don't have to worry about distance. You're just gonna hard code. Their toll fees. Okay. And the on and off ramps are identified by their names, basically. So like Jeffrey Road or Jamboree Road or something, right? And when the car tries to drive onto the toll road, you're going to check for their allowance to make sure that they have at least 10 SPD token approved for the toll system to spend, meaning that they have to have at least like 10 speed tokens ready to be taken away by the toll system. Okay. There is like a fallacy here because they can just cancel it. They can cancel the approval after you drive on, but we don't worry about that. Okay. The fees are paid upon exit. Okay. So some token specs. Okay. The name of the token is speed drive, symbol SPD, decimals 18. Total supply, there isn't a fixed total supply. Okay. So the supply starts from 0. So in the beginning, there's no supply. Okay. But users can go ahead and mint their own SPD tokens. Okay, the ratio is 1 Ether equals 1 SPD token. Okay. Wow. So now looking at the 10 SPD allowance, that seems like a lot. So here's the important thing. You don't have to write your own ERC-20 from scratch. Okay. You can use OpenZeppelin's template, and That's what I'm going to show you guys how to do today. Okay. And also, the system should be able to be paused in case of emergencies, malfunction, whatever. Okay. So hit the pause button. Okay. 3 parts. All right. First, you have to come up with your own interface. So in this assignment, you're not given anything, right? No interface, no test case. You're only given this word problem, more or less. And you have to translate that into code. And that's what separates a junior level engineer from a senior level engineer, from an architect, more or less. Because an architect, they listen to the user's problems, listen to the users crying, and they say, cry louder. No, they say, okay, so this is your user story, but then they're able to take that user story, which is just, people telling them, what they like, what they don't like, or their experience doing something. An architect is able to turn that into a program, into software requirements for the junior people to implement, basically interfaces or whatever. Okay, but the person that comes up with the interfaces, that's like the most important job in the office, more or less. Okay, so I want everyone to be able to kind of have that ability. Okay, so that's the interface planning. And for interface planning, you also have to comment your functions, right? And the format can be seen in homework 5. Basically, every function, they have a description, and then each parameter also, have a description, and then the return value, there's a description. So basically, when a junior level programming robot, okay, if you ask them to implement your interface, they don't have to ask you too many questions because they can just read the descriptions. Okay. Second part, implementation, 4 points. You'll basically have to implement the interface that you wrote. Okay. And actually, approval from me should be moved here. Yeah. So after you finish doing the interface planning, you have to come to me for approval. Okay. I'll have to say, okay, this works, or no, it doesn't. Okay. Because there are a lot. Because with with like a word problem, everyone interprets things differently. So I want to make sure that what you're writing is what I'm expecting you to do. Okay. And then implementation, you just implement it like the previous homework assignments. And then you also you have to write some test cases. Okay. 2 functional tests for the toll system, and 2 functional tests for the ERC-20 token. Okay. So that's the vanilla extra credit. Now onto the real shit, okay? Okay, actually before the real shit happens. So the approval process, basically after or you can also do it during, when you're planning the interface. Basically you have to come to me and I have to look at your stuff or listen to your walkthrough, the walkthrough of your logic, and I have to okay you before you can go further, okay? So that's the whole point. If you don't come to me for approvals and you do it anyways, if you get it right, that's good. If you don't get it right, then I'm not going to give credit. Okay, so there's no mercy. You have to come to me and we have to talk it out. Okay. Now this is the real shit. Extra credit. Okay, so the first one is the easy extra credit. Okay. So frequent customers of SpeedDrive are rewarded with an NFT badge. Okay. So here are the NFT specifications. Okay. And the condition is that after 20 trips through the toll system, you automatically give them an NFT badge, like an achievement on Steam or whatever, okay? Which is completely useless. It's just a badge, but there are a lot of useless things on OpenSea that sell for 100 ETH. The second part of the first extra credit is that you have to make the whole thing upgradable. That's 1%. Okay. This, I believe I've briefly covered the concepts in class. I can go over the concepts on Thursday again, but I'm not going to tell you how to implement it. You have to be able to do your own research, reopen the step documentation. It's actually not terribly difficult. You have to change a few things, but not too much. Okay, that's 1%. Now, the real extra credit. I don't know how to pronounce that French word, but it means enormous. Enormous extra credit, 5%. Okay. If you do this, then you're disqualified from doing this because, as we'll see. Okay, so 5%, half a letter grade. If you manage to combine the ERC-20 token that people use for payment and the ERC-721 badge into a single upgradable multi-token smart contract, 1155. I'm not covering this, okay? You have to do your own research and you have to really understand how ERC-20 and 721 works in order to get it, okay? You also have to explain to me how it works, okay? Otherwise, like I have to know that you know it, okay? Otherwise, I'm not gonna give the points, okay? And I'm not gonna answer any question related to this extra credit because then 5% would be too easy, okay? So that's homework 7. Extra credit. Any questions? So that's going to be due Tuesday night before the Wednesday where the final starts, right? The final exam will be released as usual for everyone. It's from 12 to 12, right? 24 hours. Okay. If you have any issues, like you have too many finals on that day or whatever, you can come to me and we can work something out, right? Okay, any questions so far? Before we go into coding ERC-20 stuff. Yeah.
So if we get like halfway through and we get like 4% of the 8%, does that count as extra credit? Like 4%?
Yeah. Huh? Each percent, every single percentage counts. Yeah.
Are you gonna post like GitHub or can you show us how like we make all those like different folders and like set up a file? You know what I mean? Like how
Okay, so there won't be a template, just reuse your homework 6. Just delete the contract files and the testing files and you're fine.
how do you normally set that up? Is that like
It is like a template that's on GitHub somewhere. And different people have different templates. This is just the one I've been working with for a long time. But really so a lot of stuff like the linter, basically like not allowing you to push until you fix all the errors, that's not necessary. That's not strictly necessary. The only folder that you really need to develop smart contracts is just the contracts folder and the package.json that has like the truffle stuff, and that's it. If you want deployment, you need migrations. If you want testing, you need the test folder. And you can see how things start to add up. If you need this, then you need. If you want to do this, then you need this folder and whatnot. Yeah. Okay, question in chat. Hi. Okay, so it's a private message. Hi. Could you repeat again when the finals are? I think it's the 7th, right? 8th? 8th? Okay. Thursday?
Yeah, I'd say for Thursday.
Did I?
I think so.
That's on Thursday the 8th.
Oh crap. I have to double check. Will there be credit to people who put effort but their codes not all run or not every percentage is fulfilled? Because you're writing everything, your code at least has to compile. You can just delete the parts that don't work. But like it at least has to run. It can run incorrectly, but it has to run. And also, this is a lot of extra credit, so yeah, I'm gonna say that it has to kind of work in order for me to give you points.
How should we go about meeting with you to show you the interface?
I have a Calendly link. You can reserve like a meeting with me. Yeah.
And also, is the final gonna have a grading script like the midterm and interfaces?
Maybe. It's gonna be just like one of the homeworks.
similar to this one or like just like ERC-20 stuff?
I can't tell you that. Because the answer is everything from this semester is fair game. But I will tell you that you don't have to, at least you're not gonna have to come up with your own interfaces, because if we do it that way, then I can't grade anything.
What about TypeScript?
Huh?
Do we have to know TypeScript?
I don't know, do you?
We're on a tight ship today.
Okay, you can reference all your, like, it's take home, it's open everything. You can look at whatever you've written in the past. Yeah. Just don't cheat, because I will find out, and I have found out.
Can you make scripts for the file?
Maybe, I don't know. That's this question. Do you need to know TypeScript? Yeah. If you cheat, don't make it so obvious. Okay, if you have to cheat, at least be a smart cheater, not like a, just cheat smart. If you try your best to deceive me, right? Because I mean, in real life, if you can deceive your boss, and if you can be Steve Jobs, where you go to Atari, you don't know how to program, you take a software engineering job, and then what you do is you fool around in the office all day, and then at night you call up your buddy Steve Wozniak and ask him, hey, can you do this for me? I'll pay you $20, and then Steve's like, Wozniak's like, yeah, sure, and then Steve Jobs, he gives Wozniak the 20, Wozniak's happy, and then Steve takes the 200, he's happy. Yeah, so if you can make it through life like that, I mean, look at where Steve Jobs is at now. I mean, he's in a grave. But he's done pretty well just kind of faking it in the beginning. He's a big salesperson, he doesn't know the technicals, but he managed to do it. So if you can manage to wiggle through life like that, then if you can manage to wiggle your way past my cheat radar and convince me that you're legit, then sure, I mean, look at Sam Bankman-Fried. Just make sure that you don't do it too, you don't overdo it, and now the guy is probably facing 10,000 years of jail, or maybe no jail at all because he's donated to everyone. Yeah.
Do you run mods?
Huh?
Do you run mods?
Do I? I don't know.
Please go.
Please no.
Well, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. I do whatever I want. So Moz is a program that detects similarities in code, in student code, and just by changing variable names won't fool it.
But isn't it like with GitHub Copilot, like if someone else has done the homework before you, like the system technically registers that in some way and then prompts your homework? Does that happen?
Maybe. I don't know how it works exactly. But yeah.
With interfaces, isn't all code pretty similar?
Yeah, but my point is, if you have a 0 on the homework assignments and you get 100 on the final, then I'm like, huh, interesting. Just don't do that. Okay? Basically, if you have a 0 on all the homeworks and it's too late, just talk to me in private. Like, hey, I know this is already too late because it's just before the final, but I want to come clean or something. Okay. Let me find out when Winston. So when's the final?
On Piazza it says Thursday the 8th.
Really?
Yeah, that's what the final exam schedule says too.
Okay, then sorry, I somehow thought it was the 7th. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna change. So you have one extra. Okay, any other questions so far?
So then final will start at 12 a.m. Thursday.
12 a.m. I'll make sure if it's the 7th or the 8th, but it will start 12 a.m. and then you get 24 hours. You can start whenever you get, but basically you have to submit before 11:59.
Are there gonna be office hours next week as well, before the exam?
Just post on Piazza. Okay. All right, let's dive into code, which is my favorite thing to do, and your least favorite thing to do. I'm gonna use my homework 5 folder thing. You can use homework 6, whatever. Okay. Just use one of the. Actually, use homework 5 because homework 6, you don't want to mess up your code. So let me share the screen here. Okay. So we're gonna do 2 things. First thing that we're gonna do, we are going to create an ERC-20 token, okay, your own ERC-20 token. Second thing, we're gonna create your own ERC-721 token. So let's get started. Let's create a new file. Let's call it FTT. Okay, because that's literally what it is. Fake money that we're able to mint at will. Okay. So I'm just gonna copy these from the other file. Okay, because this license, I just have it to get rid of warnings, and this is just the Solidity version. Okay. And as I mentioned in the homework 7 description, you're encouraged to use, or feel free to use, the OpenZeppelin templates. And the way to find them is open up your node modules on the left side, right? And then scroll to @OpenZeppelin, okay, and then contracts, token, ERC-20, and here it is, okay? Make sure you go for ERC-20, not IERC-20, because IERC-20 does not have implementation, but we want to use the reference implementation by OpenZeppelin, so you want the whole thing, okay? So this file, ERC-20, okay? Now we have to look at the path. It's @OpenZeppelin, contracts, token, ERC-20. Okay, so let's do import. There we go. @OpenZeppelin, contracts, token. Where's the tokens? Token, ERC-20, ERC-20 dot. So, okay. All right, and that's the only import that you'll need for now. Okay, so contract FTT is ERC-20 because we're inheriting. Okay. All right, we're all there? Yes? All right. The next step, you can see there's a red underline and it says contract FTT should be marked as abstract. Now, recall what an abstract contract means. An abstract contract means a contract that doesn't have all the implementation that it should have. So in this case, it means that we're missing some function definition here, okay? So the thing that we're missing is actually the constructor, okay? So in inheritance, okay, if the parent contract does not have a constructor, meaning it has a default constructor like an empty one, you don't have to do anything. But in this case, the parent contract, the ERC-20, has a custom constructor. Okay, if it has a custom constructor, we have to call this custom constructor from our child contract. Where did you get the token folder? It's in node modules, and then here. Okay. All right, so basically we have to call ERC-20's constructor from our FTT constructor, but currently we don't have a constructor, and that's why it's giving us this error because we haven't called the parent constructor yet. So what we want to do is we want to define a constructor. So constructor, okay, and there are two ways of doing it. We can either just kind of copy this, okay, and the way to call the parent constructor is by doing so ERC-20. And then pass in the name and the symbol. It's almost like calling a function, almost, but you're calling the parent constructor. And you see now that I've done this, the errors went away. Okay. This is one way to do it. So when we're doing it this way, as we deploy, we're still able to change the name and symbol. But I'm already calling this FTT. Okay. So I'm just going to hard code the name and symbol. Okay. So let me delete these. And then here, instead of a variable, I'll just hard code FTX token. Okay, so that's the name, the symbol is FTT. Okay. And that's it. Now you have your own ERC-20 token called FTT. Okay. It does compile, no problem. There are no errors, but there's a problem. Nobody can ever mint any of this because we don't have any minting mechanisms. Okay. So the way to do it is, I believe, so let's make a function called mint. Okay. And we can have like can take in a number, all right? So amount, and it's external, okay? And let's also make it payable. So I want people to call this mint function with ETH, and then we're gonna, depending on how much they pass in, we're gonna give them the appropriate amount of tokens, okay? Okay, so here we have a mint function. Now in ERC-20, in this template, there's a function called it's underscore mint. So it already has a built-in mint feature, but it's internal because you don't want just random people minting your stuff for free. So basically, this thing is a complete minting mechanism minus the minting requirements. And here we're going to define the minting requirements. So we can say so we can just say because this thing is payable, right? We can say amount mint equals. So how do you want to do this? How do you guys want to do the exchange rate?
Should it be really small?
Yeah, let's actually look it up. Let's use like let's see. FTT. I'm not sharing my screen, but it's $1.30. Not bad. So 1 FTT equals 0.00107 ETH. So let me do a reverse division. Okay. So 930. So 1 ETH gets you 934 FTT. So let's just make it 1,000. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we will do, let's see. So it's 1,000. But 1,000 is per 1 ETH. And remember, actually, let's kind of reverse it. Because before we do this, we kind of have to define the decimals, right? Decimals meaning basically how many decimal points you can have in this token. And the decimal point that we want to have is, let's just, for the simplicity, because Ethereum has, I think it's accurate to 18 decimal places. So let's make this one also 18, okay? Yeah, so let's define a variable to save it. So uint, we can make it constant because it's never going to change. Public, and the name is decimals. Oh, actually, they already have a decimal function. How neat. So what we have to do is we have to override it. Decimals. Let's see. Oh, look. By default, it already returns 18, so we actually don't have to do anything. Okay. So by default, this preset gives you 18 decimal places, so we can just use that. Okay. And the way to do it is, so amount to mint. So right now what we're doing is basically, so 1,000 FTT per ether. Okay, so you want 1,000, that's 1,000 FTT, but you want it times decimals. Okay. And then divided by decimals again, which is because because message dot value is in way, and 10 to the 18 way equals 1 ETH. Okay. So let's see, times decimals. Yeah, we don't have to divide, just times decimals, and that's it. Okay. So if the person sends in 1 ETH, which is 10 to the 18th way, we'll give them 10 to the 18th times 1,000 FTT tokens. Okay. So this is the amount to mint, but of course they want the times message dot value. Is this correct? What do you think? Yeah, it is correct.
Why do you pass in an amount? Should you use that amount?
You're right. We probably don't have to. Amount to mint. Okay. And next up, we just call the internal mint function, and the account will be message dot or message sender. Let's see if they have it. They do. Okay. So amount to mint. And that's it. Okay. So that's the minting function, and this is basically it for your ERC-20. Yeah.
What's the difference between the underscore message or sender brackets?
Yeah. So in some cases, when you do something called a meta transaction, using OpenZeppelin's library, sometimes it changes who message.sender is. Okay. So you see in this case, message.sender actually sometimes isn't message.sender, because what a meta transaction does is that basically someone else can take your transaction and then broadcast it for you. Well, in that case, the sender will actually be the broadcaster, but the true sender, which is you, will be embedded in some data, as you can see here. Okay. So in this case, if we're doing a meta transaction and you're not paying gas fees, someone else is, we have to decode the message data in order to figure out the true sender, which is you instead of the broadcaster.
But this is all we need because their ERC-20 uses the IRC-20.
No. This is all we need because they wrote everything in the ERC-20 itself. IERC-20 is just an well, if you inherit directly from IERC-20, you're not going to get anything because nothing's implemented.
Do it all yourself.
The concrete implementation is in ERC-20.
So on line 11 there, you're using the function min from ERC-20?
From the template, yes.
Yeah.
And it takes care of a few things for you. First, it checks you're not trying to mint to a 0 address. Then it modifies the total supply for you, and then it does the balance accounting for you. So, and then it emits the event for you, the transfer event, right? Because you're transferring from address 0 to the destination account. So it does all that for you. And there's also before token transfer, after token transfer, these functions basically you can implement custom checks before or after a token transfer. You can so OpenZeppelin gives you a lot of options to customize, and also at the same time they do all the work for you. So, but again, as you can see here, it's not very efficient because what if I don't care? I don't need anything to happen before a transfer, but it's still calling the function here, right? So at the same, just like how I said before, as it gives you so much, such a high degree of customization, but at the same time, it's a lot of overhead as well, right? Because even if you don't do anything in that function, it's still a function call. The function call does nothing, but it's still when you're looking at assembly, it still jumps to somewhere else and jumps back. Right? So that's the annoying part. Yeah. So when you're first starting out, OpenZeppelin totally fine. But as you get more comfortable writing your own stuff, you can probably gradually move to and there are different ERC-20 implementations out there. There are ones that go for extreme gas savings. This one is going for extreme features. It's got all the features that you can think of, right? It even has a burn. You can see. It can burn tokens from some random person's wallet, right? Yeah, basically mint, burn, before, after token transfer. See, these are empty because by default nothing happens, but they're still there. They're still getting called. That's the problem. Okay. It's called a hook. Yeah, but this is basically it. I may have to show you how to do homework 7. But
That's like the token part.
huh?
That's like creating the token part.
Yeah, that's it. So the barrier of entry for writing ERC-20 is once you already know how to do solidity is super low. That's why anyone can write a shitcoin, and that's why there's so many of them out there, right? And we looked at Shiba Inu's smart contract last time. It's literally a vanilla ERC. It's technically trivial, right? There's nothing interesting about it. It's just a vanilla ERC-20. It's literally a meme coin. I mean, Dogecoin, at least, it forks Bitcoin's blockchain. It's its own blockchain. Shiba Inu is really just a low effort copy and paste. But still, look at how much. Look at the market cap. That's the power of speculation, and that's what this market is all about.
Was FTT also more or less straightforward?
FTT?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's same thing more or less, and also even better. Let me role play as Sam Bankman-Fried. Okay, so as you guys know, this guy he can just randomly mint FTTs and give it to Alameda Research, which is all and all the FTTs off the market. But then he's going to use the market price times the off-market token and say, oh, we have that much in assets, which is like horse shit, right? So let me show you how to do that, okay? So right here we have a normal minting mechanism that people have to pay money and then they can mint whatever. But here's how you build a backdoor, a Sam Bankman-Fried backdoor, okay? So we have to inherit from, yes, ownable, because we need to establish ownership. All right, so let's add. By the way, the order doesn't matter. I'm just doing it because this line is shorter than this line. It just looks better. Okay, okay, so ownable, no problemo, yeah. Do I have to do this? I don't have to. Or yeah, I'll just do it. Okay, so here's ownable, okay? I'm gonna do a secret mint. Or backdoor mint. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna check amount. I'm not even gonna make it payable, okay? No money is needed, but I'll make it only owner, right? And this one, I will need amount, okay? So that's it. Minting an arbitrary amount of tokens to the owner, and only the owner can do it. That's Mr. SBF. It literally has like it's so easy to do. It's ridiculous. But he has done more sophisticated stuff, and when I say sophisticated, I don't know if I should use that word because apparently like they were approving company spending with like emojis and whatnot. So when they say that he's developed a backdoor to pull money from the exchange without the exchange monitoring system knowing, I don't even know if they have a system to monitor any sort of cash outflow because apparently at any given time they don't even know how much cash they have on hand. So maybe there's just like nothing in place, nothing's recorded. And NYT is hosting him as like a guest or something in one of the, I think he's gonna make some kind of appearance this week or next week. I think this week. Yeah. NYT.
In person or like?
I'm not sure if it's
on Twitter Space.
I think it's Zoom. We're just gonna Zoom in like Bahamas.
Is there a flash loan contract that opens up them?
Let's see it. Oops. I don't think so. Nope. I don't think so.
You could see Abe's flash loan contract pretty easily.
Huh?
I was thinking you could see Abe's flash loan contract pretty easily.
Yeah. It's all open source.
For the 19, rate, can you add utility to that so it like changes based on supply and other things?
Sure, you sure can, yeah.
And then I guess you could also hard code it based on I'm just thinking like how other contracts do that.
You can do something really weird where you make it so that the earlier you mint, the cheaper it is. Right? Yeah.
How hard would it be for you to use, I guess, an oracle to reflect the market value of Ethereum or Ether in the conversion?
Well, that's in US dollars,
Do you not need to because you're messing shop value?
right?
Huh?
So I guess, yeah, so if you're always, you'd always, the price of your token would always be relative to Ethereum, not relative to dollars.
Yeah.
Got it, and so fall and drop relative to dollars, it's good.
Maybe. Also depends on, it's just all supply demand. If people mint and then dump or something,
Sure.
it's gonna change it, yeah.
We're not specifying the total supply, that means just.
Using this template is keeping track of it for you. So in mint, you see, whenever you mint a certain amount, it increases the total supply by that amount. So it's internally keeping track, and it starts from 0.
So there's no max supply.
You can set a cap. That's fine. Yeah, you can, yeah, that's totally fine. So that would be, let's see. Yeah, you can check, you can say like, if total supply is, if total supply plus amount to mint is larger than some value, then refer. So you're keeping it under a certain number. Okay, so that's the ERC-20. Right? Let's move on to 721. What should I call this? Oh yeah, board humans. Okay. Let's copy some stuff over. And let's close the ERC-21s. Just these. Also this one. Instead of 20, we're doing 721, so NFTs now. Okay. Contract board human is 721. Okay. And similarly, we need to call the parent constructor, and let's find it. All right. Name and symbol, same thing. Okay. So let's do it. And I'm just gonna hard code it for this one. Name board humans. Symbol. What even is the symbol of Bored Apes? BAYC. There we go. No, that's Bored Ape Yacht Club. Is it the same thing? I'm not very fluent.
BHYC.
No, board human, not yacht anymore. Jet Club. Okay. BHJC. Alright, board humans. There we go. Board humans, Jet Club. Okay. So in here, there are a few things that you can modify. Okay. So minting is more or less the same thing. Right? If we look at the mint function here, right, you can mint a certain token ID to a certain address. Okay, that's all very that's all like it's basically like ERC-20. What I want to show you is first something called safe mint, right? We kind of covered it, where it checks the destination if the destination is a contract, and if it is a contract, then we try to call the receiving function to see if it's implemented. If it's not, then basically it means the receiving contract isn't ready. They're not ready. They're not equipped to keep track of ERC-721s. Then we revert so that that NFT never gets lost. Okay, so that's safe mint. The other thing I want to show is let's see, it's called base URI. All right. And token URI. Okay, so question? Yes, I will slow down a bit.
Why in the last one do you need to put ownable in the constructor?
No, that was only because I was trying to use this modifier.
Oh, so to use that, you have to put in the constructor, why, but it's in the contract is ownable? You also need to put in the constructor.
Well, just like, now I think if a parent contract, if the constructor is empty, like if it's the default constructor, then you don't really need to call it. Yeah, so this one, it just has this. I think if it doesn't have any arguments, you don't have to explicitly call it. But but it doesn't hurt to do it. Yeah. Now in upgradable contracts, that's a different story. I won't spoil it for you because that's extra credit. But you actually don't use the constructor for upgradable contracts. Okay, so back to this one. Oops. This ERC-721 base URI. What is the base URI? Okay, base URI and token URI. Now, what does URI stand for? URI stands for, no, it's not URL, but typo. URI stands for Universal Resource Identifier. And a URL, which is like a web link, it is one form of an URI. It's a form of URI, okay? And what token URI does, usually, it's in NFTs that you see nowadays, is that they usually return, based on whatever token ID you give it, it usually returns to you a link that links to the metadata, okay? So the URI of a token is basically the metadata of that of that specific NFT, which shows like, you know, image, name, or rarity, that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, what the base URI is that, so for example, let's say I stored all of my token metadata JSONs, metadata files under a server called usc.edu or something, okay? Which means that for every single token URI, they will all start with usc.edu/, right? So the base URI basically, you can save the usc.edu/ into the base URI, and it will, what it does is that it will just automatically add it to every single link, add it to the beginning or end, whatever, because this is virtual, you can change the way it behaves, right? But the point is, a token URI, if you're using this template, a base URI is something that you add in the very beginning of the link that is the token metadata, and then you can see what it does here is it's saying it's returning a string that is the combination of the base URI, which is the beginning part, that's all the same, plus the token ID, right, in string form. So imagine, how do you actually link it to the metadata? You don't actually link it, you just return a link. So when you open up a web page on, let's actually take a look here, right? Let's actually look at OpenSea and how they do it. Right, here's the one. Why is it? Okay, so let's look at, oh, they changed up their homepage. Interesting. This one looks cool. This one also looks cool. Let's take a look at this one. I'm just gonna click into some random, I like this one, or this one actually, I like this one. Yeah, so this one isn't in ERC-721, so I'm gonna skip it. What about this one? Low price, of course, high to low. Whatever, some kind of Beggar? No. It is quite cool, but I don't know if it's worth all that money. So details, okay, this one's ERC-721, good. So let's go into that contract address. Oh my gosh, hang on. There we go. All right, so contract, read contract. All right. There's the contract URI. Wait, why is it localhost?
They have their own server or something.
No, localhost means your computer. This is some kind of like weird debugging shit that they didn't remove, which is bizarre to see on some kind of NFT that's worth like
Is it
$777.
actually worth that though, or are they just trying to sell it for that?
They're trying to sell it for that, but
Has anyone bought it remotely?
yeah, look, November 24.6. Yeah, look at inflation nowadays. Yeah, this is quite bizarre. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I don't understand. But okay, base URI. Okay, look, HTTPS dot not dot, but backend dot UG. How do you pronounce this? I don't know. .com/metadata. Okay, so this is something that's common. Okay, so so let's actually go to token URI, which is here. I'm gonna enter token ID 1. You can see that it's just the base URI plus number plus 1. Okay, if I enter this, same thing. Okay, and we can actually take a look at. So this one is ID. What's the ID? 1332. Okay.
So is that just like a RESTful like API just plug in?
Yeah. So they store JPEG in their server at that location and simply link it in the contract. Yes, but it's not a JPEG that we're seeing. It is actually a JSON file. Okay, and let me copy it into VS Code so you can so I can format it better. Okay. So let me do JSON format. There we go. Okay. This is the metadata for the 777 ETH NFT. So where is the JPEG? Here is the JPEG. Okay, this is the JPEG. This is the link to the JPEG. But you can see this metadata also contains attributes, trait types, values, whatever. And then this is directly reflected on OpenSea. Okay. Over here, all the properties. Okay. So all of these here, you've got 9 of these. They come from these over here, I believe. Yeah.
And you have to have it like trait type, like that.
Yeah, so OpenSea, they have a certain format for you, template for you. Yeah. So that they are able to read it properly. And because OpenSea is the largest marketplace, so whatever they say, everyone follows. Yeah. But technically, you can like, as long as it's a valid JSON, or it doesn't even have to be a JSON file. It can be anything. But because we all agree that it should be a JSON file formatted like this, so that's why everyone's doing it that way.
They have an image though, so they're not like creating it with the metadata.
Oh no. My sweet summer child, you are wrong. Look. Yikes, it's literally a JPEG. Okay?
Yeah, it's literally.
It's not generated, it's not, it's not like generated in your browser. It is just it's a very nicely made render, I have to say. Okay. These are like some nice details. But it is JPEG. It is just a JPEG. Okay. And the best part about this is their own server. Meaning that if this website shits the bed one day in the future, which it will, because I'm sure it will, then all of your JPEG, your properties, your rarities, gone. They can or even better, if they secretly swap this metadata with another NFT's metadata, then you just got robbed. Just like that.
You could just change it to a 48, right? If you just go there.
There's like one example of an NFT. Have you seen it? Like I think it's called On-Chain Birds, where someone made like a copy of Moonbirds, and then figured out how to encode the entirety of the image in the metadata, rather than like.
You could, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, and I think it was much lower resolution than like.
Yeah, you can definitely do it, but the reason why we don't do it is because how expensive it is.
To mint, or just to do anything with that contract.
To have image data on chain. And okay, so let's take a look here. How big is this image? I'm gonna stop sharing because you're gonna see my download folder. Okay. Yeah, I know. We all have our secrets. Okay, that's a big yikes. So this image is 3.9 megabytes. Okay. Now let's look up Ethereum on-chain storage cost. And this is in 2016. Let's see. Can we mint 5 gigabyte video NFTs? I don't know, bro. Tell me. Okay, what's the current cost to store 1 megabyte of data on Ethereum? Math time. This is from 5 years. Wait.
We had to calculate this for our job. We had to just pull it up. We had to do like on-chain pulling of cost per byte for every chain.
You did?
Yeah, so we don't need pulling it up. We had to do this.
Okay. So that's definitely more recent than this one from 2017. And this one's from 2016. How much does it cost? Site for calculating on-chain storage cost. All right, so based on this thing from 1 year ago, okay, 7 kilobytes cost you 0.45 ETH. Okay, so or 3.9 rather. So yeah, 3,900. Okay, so 3,900 divided by 7 times 0.45. That's 250 ETH to store that image on chain. And Ethereum right now, let's just call it. Let's just say it's $1,000. Okay, so 250 times 1,000. Okay.
0.026 per byte in 2022. So
How many bytes are bytes are 3 point, I think.
So 1,000 bytes in a kilobyte.
Yeah.
1,000 kilobytes in a megabyte.
So that's 100,000. That's a
And
million.
it's 4 megabytes, 3.9.
So it's 4 million
you
times.
multiply by 4 million.
So it's 4 times what? 0.00026.
0.026.
0.026? Oh god.
Yeah.
That's 100,000. That's 100,000 Ethereum dollars.
What is Ethereum dollars? Is it Ethereum or dollars?
It's in dollars. It's in dollars.
$100,000.
Yeah.
Easy. Right? So that's why it has to be low resolution, pixelated or something. Because poor wallet can't take it, bro. Okay. But okay, so Nick was asking, what's the better solution to hosting, like instead of hosting this thing on your own server and then having basically you have to risk of getting rug pulled anytime. Then just host it on like not IPFS, because IPFS stuff goes away. It won't change, but it might go away. On Arweave, I would say. Okay.
What's the cost on Arweave?
So cheap, it's hard to imagine. So let me actually. Okay, so I am in the right account. I'm gonna stop sharing for once because I don't know if it's gonna show my private key or not. Okay. So let me find something that's. Trying to see it. Arweave block explore. Search for a transaction real quick. Okay. the reason why I'm still looking is because like the value is so, it just shows me 0 AR, so I literally don't know how much it costs. It doesn't. Let me try a different block explorer. Why is it not showing? It's not working. Okay. So this one, okay, the file size, 11 megabytes. Actually, you know what? Let me just transactions. I want the big file. View all. So value, let's see, big one. I need like a really big, okay, 200 megabytes. Look at this one. Hash. Okay, uploading 244 megabytes cost 5 cents. Yeah. So that is that's the difference, right? A blockchain that's purposely built for data storage versus Ethereum, which is a general purpose blockchain, right? It was never built to store data. And you know, they all have their, you know, own strengths and weaknesses. Arweave just does this better, does data storage better. Doesn't mean that it's a superior blockchain by any means. Okay.
So for Arweave, do you just like, is there like a link that you would then get a JSON response to? Or?
You use something like it's like how you yeah, there is going to be a link. You're right. There's a link. So let's say, let's take a look actually. Take a look at not this one. Let's find a smaller one. Okay. So I can actually click into this. I can see the data. Oh, it downloaded it for me. But yeah, but this is basically a direct link to the data that's uploaded. You can see if I copy the link. Wait, why is it see on Arweave? No, this copy link address. This one. So that's like the direct link. Yeah.
Can you also start my data on there?
Yeah. So people do that all the time for Solana NFTs. Yeah, they store a lot of stuff on Arweave. And actually, I think Meta, they said they would use Arweave to store stuff on the blockchain. So that's why it pumped a few weeks ago.
Is there any like downsides to Arweave?
Well, the downside is if you look, there are only 71 nodes. So it's not as decentralized. But holy crap, the weave size is now 110 terabytes. Okay, Nick said, why not IPFS? Because, huh? Yes, Oliver, why not IPFS? Can you retell the question you asked the Pinata manager?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
how?
Basically, your files on IPFS will eventually disappear unless you pay a centralized entity to pin them, to host them, which like totally defeats the whole purpose of using an IPFS in the first place.
How's Arweave like supplement that?
I'm not sure how their kind of fee model, token model works, but people are still willing to run nodes and do it. Yeah. What was the question that you asked the Pinata manager?
I asked them why they would use, so Pinata is like a pinning service, one of these centralized companies you pay to host your files so that way they don't get deleted on IPFS. And the guy basically said, he said, what we do is preservation, not permanence. It's preservation, not permanence. And we really like to highlight that we can preserve your files rather than make them permanent. So a lot of people don't want permanent.
English is my second language. Can someone tell me, like, am I just bad at English or this person's just talking crap?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand how like you're the only like for example we talked about it. You talked about the person who's like on the board.
Lord?
Yeah, like how they don't see that kind of simple thing. It's not like a technically complex criticism that you have.
Maybe it is. But yeah, I don't know why people, because, okay, I'm gonna show you something.
Maybe for the
that's-
same reason people use FTX.
Yeah, so I hope this one's not logged in. It is, okay. So IPFS NFT tutorial. Holy crap, how many results? So many results, endless scrolling, okay? NFT, IPFS, NFT, IPFS, IPFS. Arweave NFT tutorial. There's more now, but that's it. This is irrelevant, okay? Literally, okay, this one may be relevant, I don't know. Let's call it relevant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 videos, 3 or 4 of which is from Arweave's own channel. How to do Arweave NFTs. So the moment you look up IPFS NFT tutorial, holy crap, it's everywhere.
Why do you think that is?
Huh?
Do you think that's just there's
Because IPFS is free to use. And Arweave tokens are a bit difficult to get to. And also, the developer experience wasn't as good, but only because you have to pay money. It's like when you're interacting with something free, you don't have to get authorized. You don't have to. You just do it. Just upload it, right? So IPFS, it's very easy to do it, and it gives people the illusion of, but nothing is ever free, right? And IPFS doesn't have a business model. That's why they tried doing Filecoin, which is tremendously not working right now. But I don't know, why am I the only one? Why are there only 9 Arweave NFT tutorials, but tens of thousands of IPFS NFT tutorials? I don't know.
Was it hard for you to learn Arweave, how to use Arweave then?
No.
So it's not too challenging?
No, I think it's a me problem. It's always me.
Not for us.
No, I would say that IPFS is a lot more straightforward. And Arweave, it was difficult to get Arweave tokens, and also their documentation or their SDK wasn't the best. IPFS, on the other hand, they had all kinds of services built around them, like Pinata, Web3.storage, which is built by the people that made IPFS more or less, because they're trying to promote it. But yeah, I honestly do believe that Arweave is the better one. Okay, back on topic. So that was the base URI for this NFT thing. Okay. So hang on, Nick had another one. So if I had 1,000 JPEGs and trace and wanted to mint a collection, would I simply have to replicate this homework 5 interface, import ERC-721, link the base URI and token URI to the metadata, which I upload to some storage server? Yes, that's exactly how you do it. And also you just need a minting mechanism, right? Which, if you take a look at this one, see there's sales stages. I think this is this is whitelist stuff. You can reset the whitelist, give out mint, only mass minting to specific addresses. Okay. There's a regular mint. Why is it also owner only? I don't know. Sale stage mint. Yeah, minting to be called by the user according to the current sales stage. So different tiers of whitelist, I think. They call it allow list, but really it's just whitelist. Merkle root is used to verify if an address is whitelisted, right? And setting a bunch of stuff. And that is specified where? What is that? The whitelist specs. No, whitelisting isn't a part of the standard. Whitelisting is something that people people did on their own. Let me get out of the dark mode. Whitelisting is not covered under the standard. You have to do it yourself. Okay. Yeah, so in the constructor we can set our we're not in the constructor, but we can override this base URI, set it to like the backend dot UKey something or whatever, and then the token URI. So the entity that we just saw, they literally used this template. They didn't make they used this template and then they added whitelisting mints, and that's it. Okay. So here also we can do we can also call the built-in mint function anywhere. I'm not going to write another mint function, but I'm just typing this so that you know it's here. Okay, you can have mint and save mint. Okay, minted to whom and which token ID that you want to mint. Okay, yeah. So this is kind of how you do ERC-721s and ERC-20s. Very straightforward with the given template because it's done all the work for you. Okay. All right. Any questions about ERC-20s and 721s?
We like token that we created in our smart contract, like.
So what you can do is, let's say I'm trying to do something extra in this mint function. Okay, I'm trying to say if balance of message.sender is larger than 10. Okay, if this person has or if amount to mint, not balance of, but amount to mint, if this person is a baller, if they mint more than 10, then we'll give them a little NFT. Okay, so what we can do is, so first we have to import our NFT file, which is board humans. And then within this smart contract, we have to use a variable to kind of to represent this NFT, this instance of the NFT contract. So board humans NFT, and this is the type. We can make it internal, and then I'll just name it NFT. Okay, and then we would need a set function to actually set this to a certain address, so that when we call, we don't call the 0 address. But I'm not going to do it here for simplicity. Okay, so but you need like a set board humans function. Just know that. Okay. And here what we can do. So let's say we have a function called mint address to token ID or something. You know. I'm going to keep it empty, just to show you how to call that function from the other contract. And what you do is you literally just do nft.mint to is like message.sender token ID. I don't know. Like you're going to need some mechanism to keep track of it, but let's just say number 10 or number 100 or something. So now when this is called, this mint function is being called on this NFT variable, which is hopefully linked to this smart contract deployed elsewhere. So the linking process happens, again, you need like a function like set board humans, and it takes in an address or something, NFT contract address, something like that. And this address, well, you have to deploy this one first, right? Or it doesn't matter which order, but this parameter is basically whatever the address of this deployed board humans contract is at.
So that's how you're setting it to that address of this contract.
Yeah. Alright. That's a good question. Let me see how I do the evaluations. And if you have any questions, keep them coming. Wait.
What is the 100 19 message center?
Which one?
City.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, what is that?
100 is the token ID.
Oh.
Yeah. So what we can do is you can have like a counter that increases the ID or whatever with every mint, and then now you know like which ID to mint next.
Is that how you set like the max amount you can mint, like if a collection is like
Yeah,
1,000?
you can do that, yeah. And actually, you don't have, there's an easier way to do it, because I think this one actually has a total supply. Or number of minted, does it? Okay, this one doesn't, so yeah, you're right. So that's one way to also limit, to cap the total number of mints. Yeah.
How do they randomize the metadata?
That's off-chain. Yeah, so that's not an on-chain concern. So where did they specify those mint functions whitelist? Yes. 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 In the equivalent.
So like all you're proving to us is that NFT and kind of just a scheme.
Now you know how it works, right? It's trivial, mostly, right? I mean, after you spend a couple weeks with it, it's trivial to make an NFT.
You just gotta pay someone to make it look good.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like Shiba Inu, we went through the smart contract. It's nothing. It's just ERC-20 template.
We make a class token right now, deploy it, and then split the profits.
Sure, but if anyone, you can only have profits if someone's willing to buy it.
We could do some marketing.
Market- Yes, and then SEC will wake you up in the middle of the night and bag you, bring you to Gary Gensler black site.
Did you show them more humans contract again?
Sure.
But spamming it on Twitter with mods.
Actually, the evals I think are already live. Can you guys check your emails and tell me if you received like an eval link?
They're on.
It's on Blackboard.
You should make a staple coin.
Are they?
Mint 50 million of it.
Or they are for you guys, right? Yeah, not for me, yeah. Because I use a different portal. Okay, so can you show me what it looks like on your Blackboard?
Fill it out.
Huh?
You're gonna fill it out for me.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if you just check what he said, you.
Just wanna know,
They're gonna make goals in the yeah, put it up there, they're using their like crazy data studio thing, in that thing, they're gonna make it. It's really like, and then like not basically.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so can everyone go to Blackboard and go to course evals and find like a,
It's gonna be, you're just gonna call, you're gonna make it.
and find this class?
Call the other.
And it's gonna know, it's gonna run this function update, which is update the data. By a certain updates.
We're gonna do course evals right now. I'm looking at the response rate. So we have, okay, so who here is actually enrolled in this class? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay. I need to see at least 11 responses. Okay. So Blackboard, I think there's a tab.
It's like on the front page of Blackboard, on the top left.
Is this so extra credit?
No, because I can't see who responded. That's the problem. But we have 11 people here. I already have 3 responses. I know Matthew already responded, so at least I need to see the number go up to 12. Okay, and also the people on Zoom, I'll because I can't do anything to them. But you're here, so I can do things to you. Okay, but people on Zoom, please also fill out the evals if you can. Some say I should leave the room when you're doing evals. Is that correct? Okay, I'll leave the room.
Okay.
I will go use the restroom and I'll come back and you guys work on the evals, okay?
I can figure it out.
Oh.
This is all like stable. Actually, not deploying it to the blockchain is like so all the tutorials online that I've never looked at were like how to deploy to development. I never was a test once. Yeah.
Sure, it's the same. I just put it.
You gotta do like you gotta put like yeah, that's I've never wanted to go actually.
All those use a VPN.
Huh?
You put like your private key.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got talked into
It's actually,
doing.
you can definitely find a tutorial.
Alright, cool. I will be out here waiting for another 10 minutes. Just in case I'm too intimidated.
basically you download the model to your computer and upload it to your Google Drive, Google Cloud. So basically it's on Google services.
So you're just making
Yeah.
that's very extra.
Exactly. Guess what's the last? Last is ERC. Like,
So is it like a prompt in the song that's like a TC?
yeah, well, the song, like, you don't even, like, consider it the first use, like, you have at the end, kind of.
Okay, so it's generated out of song.
Yeah, it's just like the Zoom is like the same as like the song, but like you don't actually put the song files or it's like other stuff. Yeah, no, I won't like.
There's basically a lot of other TC one will figure out school is
A lot better than the break.
or like the
If you're undefeated in the regular season, you're in.
this guy's about the fake.
Oh, that's your TCU doesn't.
Yeah, that's the boss of this one.
TCU, okay, Alabama's losses, they're definitely.
And then it spits out.
I'm supposed to hold this next time.
There's this one where like it's a bunch of pieces of room, and then you can just like see what combine like there's not six.
It says expected options are the seven articles. Section.
Probably not, but they are the ones. Dude, kids, that's a good team. We like
It's like
10-1.
you put a lock to these are the dollars like kids.
Yeah.
Dollars are way more dollars for good for Michigan, Georgia. But then just the just for off.
Georgia, Michigan, teams like all blown out. Yeah,
It's
there's
like
yeah.
40 terms. It's just someone building a model.
Wait, what's it called?
Called prompt-based.com.
Yeah. Contract. Let's start out.
And just post those snaps.
It's also like based on models too, like all
This is such a where you can tell who's
seriously.
like still the future.
Yeah, and they're good models. This
Not that it's super fierce.
it's like band pop, it's like so it's like there's a really good video. I love the text. I watched it on YouTube. I don't know.
Right.
I got one.
We're all done? More or less?
It's like you have to generate on.
Yeah, nice. Alright, I think I've gotten a lot more responses, that's good. Aside from that, I don't think I have anything else to cover. You can just, if you have 4 or 6 questions, you can come up and ask me. I'm gonna,
Can you show us how to do the time testing? Like I can't get it to work at all.
Even though it's like.
I mean, let me take a look.
Yeah, there were a lot of people had the same errors, like it was
It also
functions
won't,
ended.
it also won't let me push and I just had to copy and paste them to GitHub, and then it works.
People were trying to bid and then it wouldn't let them bid, it said the auction was ended. Which was, I assumed was an issue with the deadline. I think this is like the more overall.
Yeah, let me-
experience. Should have watched that one.
I tried to do the whole thing like
yeah.
to increase time, like it just doesn't work. It's exactly the same with the.
I didn't realize it's produced.
Yeah, well, we can't hear it exactly.
So that's why they like, just validated.
I imported the HRT.
Obviously.
No, you're trying to time test it.
Console.
I don't think we.
Yeah, console. Spent a bunch of money on the like. And said, hey, it's like one of the things.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah.
Sorry for my.
Huh?
Sorry for my.
No, that's fine.
So just to if you change anything in the contract, I would do the contract and test. But yeah, those should be the only things. And then when you sort of bottom commit, the
It's the hard hat runtime environment. It's like yeah. That should be good.
yeah.
What?
Why is it so crazy?
So it made it more complex.
Seriously, it's like you really.
Sure.
And this is gonna be for this amid.
Oh, there are two ways of doing this.
Yeah.
Starting.
Is only gonna let auction ID. I think we're gonna using it
Yeah, that works. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally.
started.
Otherwise you just throw people's money away.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want.
Yeah, just like, yeah, the auction started, it's just looking for one.
So now you see, you have different considerations.
And then launch. So you're all here.
Can't get one sort.
That's fine. You're just checking, yeah, that's the only time when your cards started.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even like just like.
Do I need to
There's like integrated.
make that
There's another one.
So it's like, you can interact with all of us.
Like
Like that.
in terms of like nature.
Hard hat runtime environment. Why it's not helping me.
So another one then, is there another one? Also like looking into like AI.
I don't think there's get blocked.
Why
are you trying to find a custom? Oh,
yeah, just like. You don't even have to check, because if you check it once, you know it works. If you check if it was emitted and then it works, you don't have to check it again. Yeah, it's like, you do it once. Actually, no, like in these cases, it's just like you don't need to check if one event and did it 4 times. It's like if it was the first time, it's probably worth it. It's only like
One way to
different
prevent it
steps
is to
before
move their, because you're doing this in accounting.
like maybe for
Move it to like a different mapping or
that's
something.
something you wanna check multiple times, but if it's.
When they check their
for,
own
like,
balance,
Starting, probably like.
without the amount that
So
they
like it's not
committed.
gonna hurt you.
Okay.
right, but otherwise, also like
No, I don't.
second
Reverted with research auction stuff. It's in the works,
like
but
state variable.
yeah, it's not started yet. That's been stopped. So this might just be a difference of
Just loop it using like get the same format as like get math function, something like that.
That's fine, it's a bit dangerous, I'll tell you, because if you have too many bidders, that's gonna,
But it's like, it's part of like.
it might.
Should not allow block
Run
transactions.
out of gas or something.
So you're.
But that's just, that's the consideration. So one way to do it is always keep, because
And then here.
you can only bid higher than
This is the first.
the
like,
previous
that
person, you
sets
can't
the first
bid
one,
lower
second
than the max bid, otherwise there's no
This is
point,
the-
right?
this is the-
So you can just keep
So first
updating
you
the
get
highest bidder.
This is this bid function, and then you say.
As someone's
auction
bidding.
exists, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. How would we submit homework 7? You guys don't get on there?
I'll post it later.
Honestly, like.
What are we gonna do next class?
Go over homework 6
Stay top down.
and
So this should.
how much else, whatever questions, Q&A.
Okay.
last words you want to say to me?
Yeah, it's not much like, it's really nice.
Yeah, this should be auction does not exist, but that even then it's looking at the auction has been stopped one. But that's the way it should do it. And then instead it's looking at the times.
I think that.
I don't have an auction.
Yeah, so the thing is, it's like, what you had was the first one, and the second one was one that's actually in your contract.
Oh, okay.
So it should match up with this first one, auctions not exist, but instead it's looking at this one, which is triggered by the time stamping deadline. But,
Not wasting time, but like, all
I asked Jack.
I'll see all this other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's for your other ones too.
You guys graded homework 5 yet?
Yeah, I graded we graded from the beginning of class,
I know.
so maybe you were in there, but I think everyone should be graded by now.
Okay, I don't know if it's just on my GitHub, but I can't see.
Give me 1 second.
Oh, maybe I forgot to, yeah, I think just wait,
Just so I can know my grade for,
I got you. Did you try the extra credit?
Huh?
Did you have the extra credit?
Jack, how did you homework 5?
Yeah.
Buying all words.
Okay, I think I graded yours, I think you
Huh?
got credits.
I don't think there was any extra.
How did you get taught?
I've always seen them on Instagram. I thought they're like a shitty shoe company.
Oh, there you go.
It's
Always
like
have so much
two.
of
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
My dad got them like 8 years ago before they were cool or something.
95%.
I know, I've seen them since forever on Instagram.
Yeah, no, they're really good. You know, Allbirds.
I remember giving you full credit.
I only buy shit during Black Friday.
Is
I'm
that in your
really-
spreadsheet? It's full credit.
What'd you say?
Let me give you.
I only buy shit during Black
I
Friday.
mean,
Shit's so
I find
good.
this interesting from.
Yeah, no, you got full credit, you're fine.
They stop sharing.
Actually, like, 4 hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, can you check if I got